very good morning to everybody listening on Downforce Radio, the nation's motorsport station. We're broadcasting live from the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium. We have an audio stream here. We also have a dedicated live stream being provided by Karting Genk on YouTube. We're here for the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. 129 drivers, 15 different countries, and at a fantastic 1,360 metre facility. This is Alex Goldschmidt, the BNL Karting Series official commentator, providing you with the action as it happens. We're in the warm-up stages ahead of what is going to be a very frantic qualification session very, very shortly. Qualifying set to get underway for the youngest of our competitors, Micro Max, around 10 to 10 this morning here at local time in Belgium. So what's on offer for our competitors this weekend? There are 6 entry tickets available for the winners of all Rotax powered classes to head to the inaugural Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy at Le Mans on August 21st to the 24th this year, which then also provides them with an opportunity to compete for some great prizes and also a chance to head to the 20th anniversary, in fact, of the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals that will be taking place at the Napoli circuit in Sarno in Italy on October 19th to the 26th. So 1,360 metres of Karting Genk's asphalt will provide us with some great challenges and some great competition. We've had a sellout in the Junior Max class and also Senior Max, very heavily subscribed. For 2019, OK and OK Junior ends up coming with the championship itself as well. So we'll be looking forward to some great action throughout the race weekend. The schedule for those listening on Downforce Radio, thank you for joining us. We are broadcasting globally via the internet platform known as Spreaker. 5 minutes qualifying for each of the categories this morning. Then we have 2 finals. It's 10 minutes plus an additional lap for the first one, 13 minutes plus an additional lap for the second one. Our prize giving will be taking place at around about 4:30 this afternoon. So in terms of the track itself, drivers will reach speeds of around 115 kilometres per hour before hitting the braking zones. And we will be having paddock announcements as part of this as well. Can I ask that a driver of a BMW registration 1 PUP 925, could you please go to your vehicle and move your car immediately? That's a BMW registration 1 PUP 925. Please move your vehicle immediately. That's now the checkered flag is out. So we now have the conclusion of the OK and the OK Junior warm-up session. So all competitors have got a feel of the track conditions this morning. It was around about -2 at about 7:30, 7:45 this morning. Track temperatures should rise, as will the ambient air temperature, around about to a high of about 13, 14 degrees this afternoon. Around about 3 o'clock, so fingers crossed, we'll make sure that we'll have a lot more action as well. Some great competition due to take place here this very weekend at the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium, not too far from the German border. Drivers in some cases, in some categories, will have they'll be pulling 2 times the force of gravity, especially going through the right-hander at turn 8. So it's going to be very interesting. So Gilles Stadsbader from Belgium takes the top spot in the OK and OK Junior warm-up this morning. So for those wanting to get involved, you can contact myself via Twitter actually at @Goldschmidt, that's GOLDSCHMIDT 77 on Twitter, or you can head to @Downforce UK on Twitter, and please feel free to listen in and enjoy the action. Now it is time to get underway for qualifying for the kick-off, so to speak, for 3 different championships. The BNL Karting Series, the Chrono Karting Dutch Championship, and also the R8CB Belgian Max Challenge. 5 minutes per category. We're going to have a lottery with regards to who is going to be racing, who's going to be qualifying, so to speak, in terms of the Junior and the Senior Max divisions. Junior was a sellout. 36 competitors quickly flooded the entry banks, and then we had a further 4 or 5. Now it's time for qualifying. Let's go racing in 2019 here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. And it's our youngest competitors, Micromax. And there's going to be a few names you're going to hear over the coming months, all the way through to the first weekend of October. Tommy van der Stroys, Nando Weichselbaumer, Kasper Schormans, Len Nys, Aaron Ferrazano, Olivier Jonkers. Now it is time to have our first qualifying session, 5 minutes. The drivers are going to be put to the absolute test. It is about getting that perfect lap, making sure that you're in traffic at the right place at the right time. You're not being hindered, you're not being blocked. Now all results will be provisional, subject to technical scrutineering post-session, and also if there are any protests or any appeals post-race or post-qualifying. So we're going to get our first banker laps in as the drivers are starting to field their way through turn number 9. So the first sector's sort of coming in. Olivier Jonkers at 28.7, Aaron Ferrazano at 27.8, and has just done a 19.0 in sector number 2. So we're going to get our first banker laps in. First across the line looks to be Kasper Schormans that's going to cross. No, Aaron Ferrazano goes top with a 1 minute 6.452. Then it's Schormans in the 40, a 1 minute 6.708. Olivier Jonkers a further 7/10 adrift. Len Nys. And as I say that, Tobben, Kaz Tobben from the Netherlands goes third quickest, 1 minute 8.0 from the number 21. Nando Weichselbaumer, who's switched to GKS Lemons Power, who are based here at Karting Genk. They've had the likes of Robin Freins, Jensen Button, Stoffel Van Dorn, the Vantors as well come through their doors over the years. So 3 minutes on the clock to go in qualifying. It is about... You're now going to find some drivers might try to get past, and one's just pulling to the side there. That looks to be Ferrazano, I believe, as Jonkers, I think, has just got past in the number 16. So drivers now trying to get track position. Schormans leads a little three-kart train going through the final couple of corners here at Karting Genk. This is where they put the power down. These drivers are going to be hitting around about 100 kph on the back on the main straight, and also between turns 6 and 7, where they're actually seen to be going past road-going traffic, because I believe it's 70 or 90 kph along the main road. And for those watching on the live stream, you can just see this turn 3 to 5 complex is brilliant. It reminds me of Istanbul at turn 7. It's they come out of turn 3, then it's kiss the apex turn 4, and do the same at turn 5. Then it's a 180-degree right-hander at turn 6 before they blast down the back straight into turn 7, hard on the anchors, around 50 kph as they turn in, clip the apex on turn 7, and it's a quick right-left. So we're going to get some more times. And Tommy van der Stroys is the name you need to keep an eye out for this season. The 54 has gone top with a 1 minute 2.943. Then it's Len Nys, Kasper Schormans, Nando Weichselbaumer, Olivier Jonkers, Mats van Rooyen, Dries van Langdonk, Max Zadursky, Kaz Tobben, and Aaron Ferrazano round out the top 10, separated by 1.472 seconds. We go into the last 90 seconds of Micromax qualifying. Len Nys now hits the top, a 1 minute 2.370 from the number 17. Weichselbaumer now up into third place. Great job from the number 12, a 1 minute 2.785. Henri Verlou up into seventh now on the number 22. 1 minute 3.748 for the Belgian. But now we're getting into the dying seconds. It's the last innings before the last inning before the ninth, so to speak, if you want to use a baseball term. 60 seconds on the clock. This is where it's going to count. Who is going to pull a qualifying lap out of the bag to put them on pole position for the first final that's going to take place at around about 11:05 this morning? You can just see they are jostling for track position here. There's some great sweeping corners, but there's momentum, but then you've got to have that commitment with it as well. Len Nys currently on provisional pole position with 35 seconds on the clock. And crossing the stripe now is Schormans in the number 40. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. Len Nys, in the meantime, however, does improve and extends the gap. That's a 1 minute 2.370. That's nearly 3.5 tenths off of Kasper Schormans. Radenkovic, now in the 99, goes up into 7th. Henri Verlou in 8th. Karel Stout in the number 3 goes 11th. We are now in the last few seconds. Tommy van der Stroys, I've seen him really good in qualifying. He seems to be struggling a little bit at the moment. Max Zadursky up into 7th. And has crossed the start-finish line before the checkered flag is out, which is now out. Qualifying time has expired here in Micromax qualifying for the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. Tam Salet, unfortunately, will start from the back part of the grid in 16th, having not even gotten onto the pre-grid this morning. That's a real shame for the young German. As I see that Len Nyes is now leading the train, coming round the final couple of corners. Let's see who's going to get pole position right now. And I think it could be Len Nyes, just keeping an eye for what other people are doing. Flying laps still coming in. Watch out for Tommy van der Stroys. Nando Weichselbaumer in second provisionally at the minute as a few more competitors come across the line. And there is Tommy van der Stroys, the number 54, about to cross the stripe. Let's see what the young Dutchman does. It's not enough. It's not enough. But it is Len Nyes from Belgium in the number 17 that takes Micromax pole position here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off with a 1 minute 2.370, over 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than GKS Lemons Power teammate Nando Weichselbaumer. Casper Schormans in third, Olivier Jonkers in fourth, Aaron Ferrazano in fifth. Tommy van der Stroys will start on the outside of row number 3 in sixth position, ahead of Henri Velou, Max Sidursky, Matej Radenkovic. Dries van Langendonk rounds out the top 10, who were separated by exactly 1.1 seconds. Karel Stout, Mats van Rooyen, Kaz Tobben, Tom van Langendonk, Zem Bollen and Tam Salet will start from 16th on the grid for the first of 2 Micromax finals. That starts at 11:05 this morning. So we will now have our next qualifying session, another of our set of steely young competitors here at Karting Genk. It is time for the Minimax qualifying session. Again, for all competitors, it will be 5 minutes on this fantastic 1,360 metre facility at Karting Genk, home of champions. And we did crown 7 of them in the BNL Karting Series last October, when I was able to come here for the last round of the championship. So we normally, as you can hear, there is a definitive silence here in the background of Karting Genk. This is obviously due to a new rule. It's Article 1.4 about no starting of engines in the paddock. So this has changed things dramatically. So the majority of the noise you will hear is out on track. Now it is time for the only qualifying session for the Minimax contingent. Quite a few good competitors in this as well. Some names you'll hear over the coming few months. So the time has started to tick down. So less than 5 minutes on the clock. So we've got Tim and Nick Gerhards, Max Knappen, Jasper Leiners, Javi Bach-Martiuk, Simon Birch Christiansen and Lars-Ron Sorensen, both from Denmark. Jens van der Heijden, and we've got Kazus Rudsevicius. My surname pronunciation is going to be severely tested this year again for the second season in a row. So, I mean, effectively, what you'll find is that if I do get the surnames wrong, if there's any parents in the paddock, please help me. But that's the thing of being a Brit coming over to Europe. But I do my very, very best. 3 minutes 55 on the clock here. First sector times coming in. Leenerts, Bach-Mathieu, Christensen on a 30.8 and 30.9. But Van der Heijden from the Netherlands in the 151 has just done a 29 flat. Sharp and Knappen have just done a 28. Well, we've had Sharp doing a 28.7 on the first sector. So the first bankers coming in for Minimax this morning. And Van der Heijden has gone top with a 1 minute 8.997. Expect these times to rapidly drop over the next 3.5 minutes as we decide who's going to be on pole. 13 competitors from Minimax out on track at the minute. So at the moment, Sharp in the 103 is ahead of Tim Gerhardt's by an absolute fraction. 7/1000ths of a second in the first foray of flying laps here. Thien in the 107, a further 0.2 of a second adrift. Then it's the other Gerhardts, Nick Gerhardt's in fact, in the 60, that is 0.8 off of Sharp's first efforts. As Jasper Leenerts in the 177 now goes top. Christensen in the 153 second. Van der Eyden third. Bachmatiuk now fourth. Ron Sorensen is in fifth, ahead of, as I said, Thien goes top on a 107, as we've got our good friends from Voss Media. Good morning. We've been doing some work with them and Ben van der Stuk, and we did a lot of interviews. I think 8, if my memory serves me correctly. We also did a very entertaining introduction. You'll be able to see the after movie both on the Facebook page and also the YouTube channel when they've done their magic with synchronising the audio and editing all the interviews. I think I've actually, for my first time in my life, I've done a motorsport interview with a French driver actually in his native language. And for me, that's quite an achievement, considering the majority of the time with the team that I'm working with, it's normally in German. but really good atmosphere at the kick-off. Really good to see so many people here. 1 minute and 30 on the clock remaining here at the Minimax qualifying, as Bachmatiuk goes sub 61 seconds, a 1 minute .859. Thien in second, 3.5 of a second exactly adrift. Van Gotham up into sixth. Ron Sorensen now down in 9th position. Sharp, who was leading the timesheets initially to hopefully get things going, but it's definitely time is running out. We're into the last 60 seconds of the qualifying session. Tim Gerhardt's now back up into second position. A 1 minute. Oh, we've had our first sub 60. First sub 60 for the Minimax, and it's Jaden Thien from the Netherlands who's just put in a 59.872 with around 50 on the clock remaining. And it is a top 6 sweep for the Netherlands at the minute in the Minimax qualifying. Jasper Leenerts has got some work to do here, I have to tell you. He's currently down in 7th in the 177. Best effort was a 1 minute 1.765. But it is going to change, and as I say that, Jasper Leenerts jumps up into 4th position. So it's not the Dutch having it all their own way at the minute, but Thien, I think, has just improved. He has 59.416 in just the last 15 seconds of qualifying. Max Knappen drops into 7th position, and then we have Nathan Schaap from the Netherlands now down into 9th place. And the 145 of Matthias van Goethum is now down, rounding out the top 10. Checkered flag out. Nick Gerhardts will start provisionally on 7th position. It depends on what the flying lap times are from the competitors still trying to come through the last sector. Gerhardts did a 1 minute .017. I'm just trying to keep an eye on some sector times. Gerhardts, I think, crossed the line before the finish line was out, so he's got another chance. He's got to make up 0.6 at the very least as the checkered flag is being waved on the start-finish straight. We go sub 60 with 3 other drivers. Christensen goes third. Leenerts in second. Bachmatiuk in fourth. Van der Eyden will be 6th. Van Goethum starts from 10th. Sarkovsky in 11th. Ron Sorensen in 12th. And Rutsevicius will start from 13th. But it looks like... Oh, there's been another improvement. Jaden Thien, on the last lap in qualifying, takes Minimax pole. That's a 59.369. That's nearly 0.3 of a second quicker than Jasper Leenerts from Belgium. What a showing from the number 107. Tim Gerhardts rounds out a pretty compact top 3, just over 0.3 of a second. Then it's a further 0.12 to Simon Birch Christensen from Denmark in 4th place. Javi Bachmatiuk in 5th. Jens van der Eyden in 6th, ahead of Nick Gerhardts, Nathan Schaap, Max Knappen, Matthias van Goethum, Roman Sarkovsky, Ron Sorensen, and Kajus Rutsevicius, rounding out the 13 strong, all separated by 2.5 tenths. But Jaden Thien, what a showing from the youngster from the Netherlands, the 107 with a 59.369, putting him on Minimax pole for final number 1, and that will take place at 11:25. So don't forget, the first finals this weekend will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. And then you will also be able to listen to the second set of finals, which will be 13 minutes plus an additional lap. They start at 2:15 this afternoon with the Micromax. In the case of ties on points, the last final of the day, so if the drivers are tied on points, it's dependent on their race results in that last race to depend on where they actually finish in the classification. Because this is a one-off event, it is normally a kickstart for 3 different championships. So it's going to be very interesting, but now we come to some very exciting young drivers. Some of them, I think, will be moving on to bigger and better things in the years to come. And it is time for our first, it's Group 1 qualifying for Junior Max here at Karting Genk in Belgium. 5 minutes await, just waiting for the track to be declared clear, and then we will let the first group of Junior Max drivers out. So 36, as I said earlier on, Vilgot Edquist was a late entry and was allowed to compete, but unfortunately 4 other drivers were unable to take the grid this weekend. As the Group 1 Junior Max qualification session gets underway here at the Home of Champions this weekend. And Sherbinskas in the 264 is the first one to start a banker lap. So we have the likes of Felix de Prente, Valentin Klus, Gianni Andrisani from Germany, Oscar Christensen, Bart de Wit, Luca Thiel, Tom Reinertz, Ollie Pilker, who was fast, I think actually topped the timesheets late last night. There's one young Belgian who's made a switch, and I think a very good switch for him, 274. A former Mini-Max champion in BNL Karting Series history, Belgium's Kai Rielerts switches to the CRG chassis and is running with the Dutch team this season. Had a really good chat with him and his mum and his dad yesterday, and he's really settling in with the new team. They're being very, very helpful, helping him to get the best out of the car, going through data and asking him, is there anything that's unsettled underneath the car? Because when you think about it, there's not a lot of adjustments that you can do under the current regulations. As it looks like Sherbinskas will set a banker and goes in with a 1 minute 5.9. So Thiel goes top. Christensen's third. Actually gets quickly deposed by Bart de Wit. But Luca Thiel, does a 1 minute 4.917. But Tom Adams from the UK is in this group, and the 217 has just gone top. 1 minute 3.938 from the Brit. Kai Rielerts in 6th position, ahead of Bart de Wit, Oscar Christensen, Tom Reinertz, and Axel Hansel from Belgium in the 233 rounds out the top 10. They're currently separated by 4.785 seconds, but the times will drop. 3 minutes on the clock remaining in the first group of qualifying for Junior Max. A little bit of a contretemps there, I think, between, just trying to keep an eye on the drivers, as someone comes very wide, I think, coming out of turn number 10. Turn 9, I think it was. So, so it's Giuseppe Fico from the Netherlands that had, a slight clashing of wheels, but nothing too untoward. Luca Thiel goes top, and we are now in the sub-59s. Luca Thiel is actually a fraction off. Talk about 56 hundredths of a second off of going underneath the 58-second barrier. But watch out for a youngster by the name of Mike van Vught from the Netherlands. Running in the 201 will be in the next group. He is incredibly quick in qualifying, and he can also win races. He won the Rotax Max Euro Trophy, the BNL Karting Series Crown, and also the Chrono Karting Dutch Championship last year. 3 titles in one season, and finished, I think it was 6th, having to fight back in Brazil last year. As there's some other drivers that I know that I have seen walking around the paddock, including Chris Harnan, wearing his Team Netherlands overalls. So time still coming in. Kai Rielerts, what a showing from the young Belgian in the 274. Goes provisionally top. Luca Thiel goes even quicker. So does Lucas Sherbinskas. So Thiel leads from Sherbinskas, Rielerts in third. Heinertz, and as I say that, Schoenmakers from the Netherlands goes second quickest. It's changing all the time. Rielerts goes top. This is going to be frantic over the next 1 minute and 20 seconds as Tom Adams deposes Kai Rielerts ever so briefly. They're now, it looks to be on their fourth lap of qualifying so far, as they start streaming back down the back straight between turn 6 and 7, reaching speeds towards 110 to 115 kph. And these drivers will be pulling at least 1.5 Gs coming through turn number 8, which is a very aggressive momentum-carrying right-hander. Wout Kirstens in the 266 goes up into 15th position. We now go into the last 45 seconds. Scherbinskas goes third provisionally at the minute, having completed his fourth lap in qualifying. And I want to see what Adams, Rielerts, Thiel, Sean Marcus, Heinertz, De Wit, Pilke, Andrisani, Christensen. This is going to be really, really tight because the top 6 separated by just over 0.7 of a second. Tom Adams goes even quicker. He betters his time by nearly 3.5 tenths to a 56.070. Ollie Pilke now in the mix, the young Pole from Dan Holland Racing in the 243 now second. And then we also have Maurice Schuring from the Netherlands ahead of Schoenemakers. Heinertz now up into 5th. Andrisani 6th. Christensen 7th. Zeinen, Rielerts and Thiel round out the top 10. All separated, would you believe it, by just over half a second. And the checkered flag now waves. Who's going to cross the start-finish line first? Kirstens comes over first. That's Wout Kirstens from the Netherlands in the number 266. So let's just see who's going to really put one on the rest of the field coming across the start-finish line. Time's now going to... Schoenmaker's second. Heinertz goes top provisionally. Deposed by Pilke at the flag by 1/10. As they came through that was an absolute stream of Junior Maxes coming across the start-finish line. I really couldn't keep up with it. But Ollie Pilke from Dan Holland Racing in the 243 takes pole in the Group 1 Junior Max qualification stages. Tom Heinertz made it up to second ahead of Tom Adams from the UK. Lucas Schoenemakers in 4th. Maurice Schuring 5th. Giuseppe Fico in 6th ahead of Valentin Klus, Gianni Andrisani, Oscar Christensen, Lars Zeinen, Kai Rielerts, who was fighting at the front of the field, ended up in 11th place ahead of Luca Thiel. Lucas Scherbinskas, Bart de Wit, Axel Hansel, Sjors Peters, Felix Seprenta, and Wout Kirstens rounding out the 18 strong. And the top 15 were separated by just 1.4 seconds after that qualifying session. You think that was a good one. We've now got the second group ready in the pre-grid, ready for their qualifying session for the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off here at the home of champions, Karting Genk. So Pilke took pole in Group 1. Who's going to go faster in Group 2? Because I'll tell you what, judging by the pace he was setting, and he was running in the top 3 all the way through practice yesterday, Mike Van Vugt on the 201 from JJ Racing is one guy that is looking to defend titles, and he's going to start his campaign here at the Kick-Off. So we'll see what Van Vugt and also some other drivers do in this particular qualifying session. Then after that we will have the 2 Senior Max groups, so it will be Group 1 and then Group 2. Also, for those wanting to catch up with live timing, it's www.motorsport-events.se/BNL live/hash. There's a download results at the bottom of the tab when you hit OK for cookie, if they allow you to use cookies as per the internet. So, here we go. Second group of qualifiers for the Junior Max division. So, obviously, you might get pole in the group, but it may not necessarily be pole position for the finals. So, Danny van Ruyten, Max Stemmerdink, Maurice Schmeitz, Arvid Rosen, Vilgot Edquist, who I said earlier on this morning was a late entry. Watch out for the 254 of Daniel Ginchard from the UK. He's switched to he's with SFR Motorsport. He's running the Ralf Schumacher chassis, and he was very, very much a force to be contended with for the 2018 BNL Rotax Golden Trophy. The time is now ticking away. 4 minutes on the clock to go. And I've got a real feeling... Oh, we've already got someone pulled off at the end of the back straight already, so someone's qualifying. So that might have been a little bit of a spin. Whether there was contact, didn't really catch it out of my eye of line of sight here on the commentary position. But this is where the drivers now have got a benchmark to hit, and Ollie Pilker's time will be in their target, their crosshairs right now. As we're going to get to the first bankers coming in here. Looks to be Danny Van Hoyten goes top initially in the 2:08. Oh, and as I say that, Ginchard provisionally goes to the top. And Van Vugt is doing his qualification special, I believe. It's the 2:01 special, as they probably call it in the restaurant. He's actually at the back part of the field. So he's giving himself the best opportunity to be the last person to cross the start-finish line. So Daniel Ginchard initially at the front with 3 minutes on the clock remaining. A 1:03.612 from the Brit. We've got Edquist in second, Dirk Jansen in third, Danny Van Hoyten and Maurice Schmeis round out the top 5, all separated by 2.5 seconds. It's going to be even closer than that in 2 minutes and 45. So sector times coming in. Edquist has just gone best in the second sector with a 16.8. Ginchard's done his best sector of a 16.9 on sector 2. Van Vugt goes 5th at the minute. Van Hoyten top. Callum Voisin from the UK in the 2:35 has gone up to 4th behind Ginchard. As we've got Edquist goes to within 7 thousandths of a second of Danny Van Hoyten from the Netherlands. So it is the Netherlands leading Sweden, the UK, the Netherlands, and the UK. So Max Demmerdink has got a bit of work to do in the 2:09, and is the likes of Danny Van Dijk. Mike Van Vugt has just gone through sector 2 with a 16.8. That's pretty comparative. But Danny Van Hoyten's just done a 16.5 in the second sector. But we've got Edquist matched his time in the first sector with a 22.5. So Van Vugt now third. Van Hoyten in first position. Voisin goes third, was the second, now drops to 4th as Ginchard goes to within 1.5 tenths of Van Hoyten. And we're getting close to the sub 56 second barrier. The times are now decreasing. The gaps are also dwindling as well. The top 7 separated by just under 1 second here for the Genie Max qualifying. So all results are provisional. So 53 seconds on the clock, still remaining in this second group qualifying here at the Home of Champions. 43 seconds on the clock. Van Hoyten is in first. Van Vugt has just gone to within, it was under 1/10, but Danny Van Hoyten from the Netherlands is on the move. 55.570. Dan Ginchard is now within 0.3 of a second with less than 30 seconds on the clock as the Brit now comes through turns 3, 4 and now 5. This nice triple left-hander which then leads onto the 180-degree right-hand hairpin onto turn 6. Then they put on the throttle, blast their way down, all the way down as they get the head down, going past road-going traffic at the same time, putting on the anchors into turn 7. 5 on the clock to go. So, checkered flag now being waved on the start-finish straight. Who is going to get pole position in Junior Max Group 2? Who crosses the line first? Van Dijk, 4th quickest. Actually, make that 5th because Van Vugt has just gone 2nd. Van Hoyten in 1st, but where's Ginchard going to fare in all of this? That's pretty convincing from Dan Ginchard. He goes within 1/10 of a second, but instantly gets to pose as Jeff Machiels in the 2:57, who has pretty much not commentated on in this session, just goes top at the flag. A 55.548 from the 2:57 from Belgium. Danny Van Hoyten in 2nd, and Dan Ginchard from the UK in 3rd position. Good outing for the Brit in his first qualifying in Rotax power for 2019. So Jeff Mahiels from Belgium in the 257 takes the top spot by just 22 thousandths of a second from Danny Van Hoyten. Dan Ginchard, Vilgot Edquist, Mike Van Vught to round out the top 5, all separated by just over 1.5 tenths of a second. Then it's Danny Van Dijk, Maurice Schmeis, Sem Van Til, Lewis Mullert, Max Stemmerdink, Patrick Snows Lokmelis, Callum Voysen, Derek Janssen, Artem Mikhailov, Daniel Tsurankov, I'm going to get these surnames wrong, believe you me. Flint Schuring, Sam Bergstein and Arvid Rosen rounding out the 18 competitors. So it was 18 per session this for the Junior Max division. Now we get on to the Senior Max, hotly contested every single time they go racing, and this weekend is not going to be any exception at all. Names to watch out for: Matilda Olsson, Jordan Brown-Nutley, Dylan LaHaye, Mick Knowlton, Ilian Brunsils, and many more to come. This is going to be the first of 2 groups, all decided by lottery. So they don't have a say on where they're going to be in qualifying, but believe you me, they are going to definitely fight tooth and nail. So based on an aggregate of who got the best times in the relevant groups, we'll be deciding the grids for our respective finals later on today. So the first Junior Max final will be the one just after the lunch break, starting at 12:30 this afternoon, local time here in Belgium. So just waiting for the first group of seniors to be released from the pre-grid here, which leads them onto the final corner before the back straight. Which they're doing now, so the pre-grid is now open for them to get onto the track here. So Jordi van der Eyck, Mick Knowlton, Nick Cuppens, Ilian Brunsils, so the likes of Matilda Olsson will be in the other group, which will probably include Patrick Rundqvist from KR Sport, as we've got a spinner on turn 2 already coming out. So the temperatures are a little bit cold this morning, and that is the 313. That's Fabian Bock from Germany, who's just had a little bit of a spin. Cold tyres don't help anybody these days, and especially when you come out of the pre-grid. The weather at the minute, it was 3 o'clock a little bit earlier on. It's now 6 degrees Celsius, not 6 a.m. What am I doing? I'm going back in time here. So 6 degrees Celsius. For those wanting to know in Fahrenheit, it's 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity of 55%, with a wind speed of either, well, it's 5 miles per hour or 8 kilometers per hour. First bankers coming in. Leader goes second behind Paulsen. Bollen in the number 324 goes third quickest. Jeffrey Fixer, Jordi van der Eyck rounds out the top 5 ahead of Nick Cuppens, who's in 8th place at the moment, so has just dropped. There's been a couple of changes. Alex Pendlebury from the UK in the 339 is currently in 3rd position. Jason Lockwood, who was in the wars in the Golden Trophy last November, currently sitting in 12th at the minute. We'll actually make that 13th as Ilian Brunsils from Belgium goes up into 8th position with a 1 minute 2.145. But we've gone under the 60-second barrier in qualifying already, thanks to the likes of Victor Paulsen, Maxim Lieder and Alex Pendlebury, all under the sub 60-second barrier. Top 3 separated by just 6 tenths coming into qualifying this morning. So, coming up to 2 minutes and 30 to go as Fabian Bock goes up into 4th place. Pieter Jan Bollen goes up into the top spot with a 55.320, and that's going to change very quickly as Mick Knowlton goes sub 55. Mick Knowlton in the 304 goes sub 55, then Ilian Brunsils does a 54.777 to upset the apple cart there with around 2 minutes and 20 to go here in the first qualifying session for the seniors. So the times will drop. So it's Brunsils from Knowlton, Plateau, Bollen, Clinton, Holzlag, Jung, Lieder, and Bob and Andreas rounding out the top 10. Jeffrey Fixer goes up into 4th place. Paulson has Henri. Hang on, was that Henri Jung? Henri Jung has just gone top. Yeah, Henri Jung from Germany in the 307 went up into top, but now it's Herbert Andreas from France and Nick Cuppens. Will Jenkins and Jason Lockwood now go into complete the top 4 with 90 seconds on the clock remaining. But Mick Knowlton responds. Ilian Brunsils goes sub 54 in the process, so the 16-year-old from Belgium now does a 53.843. So the time is fast ticking down again at this particular moment. So I would expect that it's going to drop by at least another couple of, maybe even a tenth or two, as Ilian Brunsils goes 21.6 in the first sector, 15.8. He could be on another flyer, but we'll just see what happens. There's still time for him to, just sort of let the engine sort of breathe for a second. Well, it's going to get plenty of air into the air intake. As Brunsils again improves, but by an absolute fraction. And he goes 53.830. He's just bettered his time by just 13 hundredths. And there's 25 seconds on the clock remaining. So Brunsils leads from Knowlton. Nick Cuppens rounding out the top 3, separated by just under 3.5 tenths. As it's now 10 to go on the clock. Time's now about to expire here in Group 1 qualifying for Senior Max, and it's going to be a mad dash to the finish to find out who is going to be pole position in this group. So Paulson 11th, provisionally. Fixer 15th. Henri Jung 9th. Jenkins 5th ahead of Fabian Bock. Jason Lockwood down in 8th. Just wondering where Brunsils, Knowlton. Knowlton goes to 2nd with a 53.965, but it's not enough because Ilian Brunsils takes pole position in the Group 1 class of Senior Max division. So we'll have another set of competitors. Looks to be either 33 or 34 in total, so we should have another 16 competitors at the very minimum in the next qualifying group. So Ilian Brunsils from Belgium, celebrating his 16th birthday this week, takes pole position in the Senior Max qualifying group number 1 ahead of Mick Knowlton from the Netherlands. Nick Cuppens from Belgium in 3rd. Herbert Andreas from France in 4th ahead of Will Jenkins from the UK. Fabian Bock from Germany with Voigt Motorsport in 6th ahead of Teddy Clinton. Alex Pendlebury and Jason Lockwood making it 4 Brits in the top 10 ahead of Germany's Henri Jung, Jordi van der Eyck, Victor Pato, Victor Paulsen, Kevin Holzlag, Maxim Lieder, Jeffrey Fixer, and Pieter Jan Boll rounding out the 17 strong, all separated by 1 second. That's how close it gets in qualifying in Senior Max. But when I've been commentating on the Rotax Max Euro Trophy, it's normally more competitors under a second between each other. That's how close it can get. So you think something like, say, the Deutsche Turnwagen Masters is close when it's 18 competitors. You look at least 20 to 25 Senior Max competitors going even closer within that gap. So, as I say that, the second group of Senior Max drivers are now in the pre-grid ahead of their single 5-minute qualifying session. There's no qualifying heats, as you'll find in normal, in some Rotax competitions. We won't be having any pre-finals, so it's straight into qualifying, and then it is to finals itself. All results, as I call them, will be provisional, subject to technical scrutineering, and also if there are any appeals post-session. So nice work by Ilian Brunstil. So the drivers have to see if they can better a 53.830 this morning in seniors. So the rest of them come out. Looks like we're going to have there's one of the GKS Lemons Power drivers coming out. That is Dylan LaHaye in the 328 that starts his first effort. So in this we have the pairing of Kai and Reese Hunter, Jordan Brown-Utley, the Dorroy Diamond Lewis Gilbert with Persistence Motorsport, Alexander Luck being in this as well, Ben Casely, Kieran Gifford, who was also very quick in practice yesterday. But then don't forget about the likes of Patrick Rundqvist and Matilda Olsson, who are both regulars on the Rotax Max Euro Trophy. I know Matilda is competing this season. I had a good chat with her yesterday. She said that she had a bit of troubles with the car. Sometimes it was going a little bit wide. But she said, that's practice. And I said, well, hopefully it's going to be better for race day. She said, yeah, I hope so too. So we'll see what Matilda and the rest of the field have to show for us in qualifying. So we'll see the first banker come in from Belgium's Dylan LaHaye, and he puts in a 58.447. Blum just crosses the line and does a 1:06, 1:06 as Bram Ossewaarder and Verheyen, Brent Verheyen now comes through. We're now going to see some other times coming through. So James Lauder in fourth, Danny Kroos from the Netherlands. Just going to wait and see what's going to happen with Jordan Brown-Utley and Matilda Olsson. Don't forget Patrick Rundqvist, he's also very, very quick indeed. So we've got just over 3 minutes on the clock remaining. At the moment, Kai Hunter is the one that is leading the field. He's done a 57.955 in the 305. That is nearly half a second quicker than Belgium's Dylan LaHaye in the 328, who's now in his 7th season with GKS Lemons Power. Both myself and Ben Vanderstuk, and I think we had a little joke with him. I said, well, maybe it's lucky year number 7 with GKS this year for you. And he said, well, I'm hoping to have a great season like I did in 2017. Bram Ossewaarder from the Netherlands now goes into second as Dylan LaHaye retakes the top spot with a 55.168. But Jordan Brown-Utley from Strawberry Racing in the 310 has just gone top. Kai Hunter responds and goes nearly a tenth and a half quicker than his British compatriot. And it looks like it's we've got Kai in first and Reese Hunter in third in qualifying. The top three, that's Kai Hunter on a 54.455, Jordan Brown-Utley 54.598, and Reese Hunter on a 54.914. Matilda Olsson now in fourth position. She's about a tenth and a half or so outside of the sub 55 second barrier, but the 302 from Sweden I think will have a little bit more to say in the next 2 minutes in this second group of qualifying for Senior Max at the BNL Kick-Off here at Karting Genk in Belgium. Dylan LaHaye does not improve in terms of position, but Verheyen goes 6th, Ossewaarder goes 4th, Lauder goes up into 9th, but Brown-Utley goes to the top and absolutely blitzes the field with around 1:40 to go. But then Kai has just responded in kind, and he's gone sub 54 in the process. What a showing from the Brit, 53.974. 1:30 on the clock to go in Senior Max Group 2 qualification here. So it's Kai Hunter, Jordan Brown-Utley, and the Dorroy Diamond has just sparkled into the mix as well. As I say that, the 329 from Persistence Motorsport goes third ahead of Reese Hunter. Patrick Rundqvist at the moment rounds out the top 5, who was separated by just 0.319 seconds, and is 3 1,000ths off of Reese Hunter, who in turn is 2 1,000ths off of Lewis Gilbert in third position. 1 minute to go in qualifying for the second group in Senior Max, and it is starting to get explosive. Drivers now streaming across the start-finish line. One of them is Jordan Brown-Utley. Does he improve? Not this time, not this time. He does a 54, I think it was a 2. I'm just keeping an eye on what he did last time. His best time is a 54.068. Kai Hunter increases the margin to 0.094, but Jordan Brown-Utley responded to a 54.068. He's 2 tenths off. He's got to find that in probably the next lap, the next 2 laps that he'll have, because he's just gone through turn 7. By the time he gets round to turn 12, he will be pretty much there or thereabouts, if he's lucky. So this could be his last lap. But it depends on who's going to start across the start-finish line first, and it looks to be that it could be the 376 of Bram Ossewaarder, who is currently sitting down in 12th position. 5 on the clock to go. I don't think Jordan's going to make it. It's going to be checkered flag out this time. But he could be on a good lap here. We'll just see what he does. He goes second, provisionally, at the moment. Let's see what the Hunters have to say about this. Well, Reese has just dropped down to 5th position. And checkered flag was out. We had a stream of Cinemax going across the field. But Kai Hunter, well, you're not going to believe this. Ilian Brunsils, Group 1, 53.830. Kai Hunter, Group 2, 53.831. 1/1000th of a second between Kai Hunter and Ilian Brunsils from Belgium. That's how close it can be. Jordan Brown-Lutley takes second in Group 2 qualification for Cinemax. Ahead of Patrick Rundqvist from Sweden. Kieran Gifford, Reese Hunter and Lewis Gilbert ran out the top 6. So 5 Brits in the top 6, that's incredibly impressive. Then we have both Emily de Hoys and Matilda Olsson from the Netherlands and Sweden respectively in 7th and 8th. Ahead of James Lowther and Vincent van Kerkhoven from Belgium in the number 383. Rounding out the top 10, separated by just over 6.5 tenths. Danny Kroes was 11th. A bit of a disappointment, I think, for Dylan Nahay, if I'm honest, in his eyes. He's 12th, ahead of Bram Ossewaarder. Ben Casely and Alexander Luck will be rounding out the top 15, who were separated by just over 9.5 tenths of a second, with Brent Verheyen and Luna Blom rounding out the 17 strong, all separated by 2.1 seconds. So we'll have 34 competitors in each of the 2 Cinemax finals, but that is close. That is incredibly close. Kai Hunter, he was gunning for sub 53.830, and he got to within 1/1000th of it. Another 2/1000ths, he would have had it. So I think by that happening, it's a case of I think Ilian Brunsils will be pole for the group, but we'll find out the grid allocations a little bit later on. So we come to our penultimate 5-minute qualifying session of the morning's action here at the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off at the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium. So it's going to be DD2 and DD2 Masters this time around. So the DD2 drivers will have the number 4 at the front of their designated race number this season, and for DD2 Masters it will be the number 5. For OK and OK Junior, it will be the number 1 at the front of their designated number, and then the number 2 for the designated number for the OK drivers. So some very interesting action in qualifying already, but I think the main key is that when we go racing very soon with the first set of drivers this morning, which will be the Micromax contingent, as DD2 and DD2 Masters qualification gets underway here at the home of champions in Karting Genk. So, Jan Schwitter was very quick in the warm-up session this morning, so he could be a potential candidate for pole position. Don't forget about the likes of Juuso Pantila, as well as Zander Schublak, who's also faring into this. Zander is the defending 2018 BNL Karting Series DD2 champion. So just waiting for the first set of times to come in here at this fantastic 1,360 metre CIK FIA graded circuit. So Jan Schwitter comes in and puts in the first benchmark. Marcel Steiner responds and does a 1 minute 1:2.220. Michel Siblik now goes top with a 1 minute .045. So the 4:53 could also be one to factor in if Michelle has got that kind of speed. She's running the 4:53. Tommy Helfinger at the moment from Germany is the leading DD2 Masters driver on the 5:06 with a 60.568. So we've got 3 minutes of this session left to go. For some strange reason, Tommy Helfinger is showing on the timing screens twice. I don't know if there's probably a slight system error or maybe a transponder issue, but Helfinger is still circulating and is currently 6th at the minute as Andreas Schindler, who was quickest in the warm-up this morning on the 5.15, now goes second quickest overall. Well, make that Imke Arts, who now goes second quickest on the 4.21 with a 54.798. So Jan Schwitter from FM Race. Well, as I said, Sander Schiblak now into the mix. 4.12 does a 54.427. That is just over 0.3 quicker than Jan Schwitter from FM Racing. Imke Arts rounds out the top three, separated by 0.371 of a second. Schindler leads the DD2 Masters. The next driver in that list will be Tommy Helfinger from Germany in the 5.06. Who's currently 9th as Jan Schwitter now retakes the top spot and goes sub 54 in the process. So 53.947 for the FM Racing driver. Marcel Steiner, Sander Schiblak. Yusuf Pantela now jumps up into second position and goes to within 1/10 of a second of the number 4.27 of Jan Schwitter. So nice work by Pantila from Finland in the 4.51. That's a great showing as Schiblak now goes even quicker than anybody else. The Belgian goes top with a 53.857. And you know what? He's 20 hundredths off the pace that was set in Group 2 Senior Max qualifying of Ilian Brunsil. So he's within he's 27 hundredths off of Ilian's time. But I think that with about 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock, Zander's definitely going to be thinking, I want to go quicker. I want to pull the gap between everybody and myself. And as I say that, Jan Schwitter responds in kind and goes 7/100ths quicker than Schiblak on that particular occasion. Schwitter does a 53.785. So Schiblak has gone through Sector 2, done a 15.8. He did a 21.4 in the first sector. And he goes top again, and he extends. Oh, that's pretty close indeed. So the gap now between Schiblak and Schwitter is less than 60 hundredths, 0.058 of a second between first and second in qualifying. Top DD2 Masters driver is still Andreas Schindler, but he's now down in 9th position overall. The times are rapidly dropping. The top 12 overall is separated by less than 9/10 of a second as we go into the last 10 seconds of qualifying for DD2 and DD2 Masters. That looks to be the 4.47 of Sebastian de Grond, who just crosses the line and does a 113, I think. As Pantelo will start provisionally on third, but it's about who's going to take pole. Is it going to be Schiblak or is it going to be Schwitter in DD2? Schiblak provisionally pole. What has Schwitter got to bring to the party? A 21.514, Sector 1. See what the FM Racing driver does through Sector 2. Is he going to have enough time? 15.9. He's about a 10th off of Schiblak at the moment in terms of the sector times on this last lap. So where is Schwitter at the moment? Just trying to keep an eye out for him. So when it was all said and done, in DD2 and DD2 Masters qualifying, for DD2, it's the 4.12 of Belgium's Sander Schiblak that takes pole position with an impressive 53.725. That's a 10th quicker than Ilian Brunsil's in Senior Max this morning. Jan Schwitter in second with about 60 hundredths off the pace, having contested pole position for the majority of the second half of that 5-minute qualifying. Yusuf Pantela, Jan Negussens, Marcel Steinert, Sebastian de Grond, Mark Bartels ran out the top 7. Andreas Schindler is the top-rated DD2 Masters driver in 5.15, ahead of Michel Siplik from the Netherlands. Imke Arts rounds out the top 10, who was separated by less than 7/10. Tommy Helfinger, the next best placed DD2 Masters driver from Germany, is in 11th ahead of Christoph Adams, Wood Coulson, Faye Hitz, Maxim Shaposhnikov, Konrad Bayer, rounding out the 16 strong. So we will see DD2 and DD2 Masters at 1:10 this afternoon for their first of 2 finals here today. The first finals will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap in duration, and 13 minutes plus an additional lap in duration for the second of the two finals. Our lunch break will be after the second of the first finals this morning, which also will have micro and mini-max to take us through to the lunch break. So we should be concluding the first part of our coverage here for the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off at around about, I would have said, probably about 20 to 12, and we'll be back just before 12:30 this afternoon to go through to the business end of the kick-off, where 6 lucky drivers will go to Le Mans in August, and 8 lucky drivers will get a free season entry to the BNL Karting Series season, which starts next month, 4 weeks from now, here at Karting Genk. So we've got, I think we're just about to let the OK and the OK Juniors come out, which I think even though we're going to have 4 competitors, we're going to still have, I think, some very good action. We've got 2 very steely competitors in the form of Mercedes and Jules Castro, but they are running in opposite categories to each other. So we'll have Maxime Foron-Castellai from Luxembourg, Mercedes from Denmark, Gilles Stadsbader and Jules Castro from Belgium in this session. 5 minutes of qualifying. They're going to be. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a bit of a change for Mercedes, because obviously last year he was in Rotax and he's hoping to do some more Rotax. So he'll have an understanding of the Rotax tyres, but then when it comes to the Vega tyres that are used with the OKs, it's going to be a different experience. I think he's really been enjoying it. He's really been throwing it into the corners from what I've seen when I've been sort of spectating a little bit yesterday afternoon during practice day for the kick-off, as well as having some entertaining fun with the guys at Voss Media and Ben Vandenstukken, helping to create the BNL Kick-Off After movie, which will be online after we've completed that. So we're finishing that off today. So 3 minutes and 40 on the clock to go. Maxime Foron-Castellai from Luxembourg setting the pace on a 58.410. Jules Castro just under 59.196. Mercedes to 1 minute 1.883. But I would expect Mads to be a little bit quicker than that. But he will do, as Gilles Stadsbader goes a little bit quicker than the Dane with a 1 minute 0.831. So we might only have 4 entries here in OK and OK Junior, but I think we're still going to have some really good action, just as long as they don't get too far strung apart. It's the first foray for the BNL Karting Series in its 11th season of competition. So we'll just see what progresses as the session goes along. We've got about 2 3/4 minutes to go, but then we will have our first final, and that's something I am really looking forward to. Two minutes 17 on the clock left, and just keeping an eye on who's coming through on the video screen in front of me. That is, I think that's Mercedes. He's sporting a very different and very nice race suit representing his country's colours. So Gilles Stadsbader at the moment has done a 53.7. Jules Castro 54.511. Just 26 hundredths ahead of Maxime Foron-Castellai from Luxembourg, as Mercedes goes top and goes flies ahead of Gilles Stadsbader by about 7 tenths, but then Stadsbader responds and pumps in a 52.592. I don't think Mads is going to be the, he's having a bit of fun out there. He's just getting used to the car, the new setup, the tyres. It's going to be a really interesting way to sort of hopefully see his development in the OK category, but I'm looking forward to seeing him back in Rotax this year. 1 minute 10 on the clock to go. Stadsbader is still leading, 52.592, as Foron-Castellai from Luxembourg goes a little bit quicker that time, goes to within 55 100ths of Belgium's Jules Castro, who I believe is still, yes, he's still very much in the GKS Lemons Power colours, which he was with last year as well. So he's had a bit of an association with GKS for the last few seasons. So 36 on the clock to go. Gilles Stadsbader still leads the OK section of this qualifying by about 5.5 tenths from Mercedes from Denmark. Jules Castro, in the meantime, is over 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than Luxembourg's Maxime Castellai in the 136. As we're now about to have our countdown towards the finish, the start-finish line, having the checkered flag being waved. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it for the end of our last qualifying session for the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off here at Karting Genk. As Gilles Stadsbader crosses the finish line whilst the flag is waving and sets his best lap of a 52.066. Mercedes has this attempt, so he's coming through turn number 7 at the minute. So in around 20 or 25 seconds, the young Dane, who has, I think, probably one of the greatest sports cars driver, if not one of the greatest drivers in modern racing history, Tom Christensen, Mr. Le Mans, a 9-time winner at Le Sarthe, who's also now an Audi Sport ambassador, amongst whatever he does. He also works with the FIA as well. As Castellai now finishes with a 54.034 on that last lap and goes to within 27 hundredths of Jules Castro, who takes pole in OK Junior. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying now completed for the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. And I'm really happy to say this. In 13 minutes' time, for the first time this afternoon, we go racing. And it's going to be Micromax and Minimax that will take us to the lunch break. So I'll be back in just a couple of minutes' time, about 5 or so minutes, and we'll bring you into the build-up. What's truly going to be the kick-off for 3 different championships here at the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium, for the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. I'll be back in just around about 5 minutes. BNL Karting Series Kick-Off, being held here at the home of champions at Karting Genk in Belgium. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments' time, in about 4 minutes in fact, we go racing for the first time in 2019. 2 finals for each of the respective categories this morning and also this afternoon. So for the kick-off itself, there are opportunities for people to win some great prizes. You're a runner-up in any of the Rotax powered classes, or you're a winner in OK Junior, you get a pre-season pass to the full and complete 3-round calendar of the BNL Karting Series. Also, the 6 winners in the 6 respective Rotax powered categories will have the opportunity to compete in this year's inaugural Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy, being held between the 21st and the 24th of August at the Circuit Alain Prost in Le Mans, where legends are born, such as the likes of Tom Christensen. Also, Andre Lotterer is a 3-time winner at Le Mans. He's also raced here at Karting Genk. And it is time to get underway very shortly with our first final of the 2 finals that we'll have, and it is going to be our Micromax competitors that will first of all go to their first of 2 finals. The first one will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap here of this 1360 metre facility at Karting Genk. So the drivers just sitting in the pre-grid, ready to go racing. So we're about 2 minutes away from this first of 2 finals for Micromax. And the first of 12 finals in total here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. The winners will be decided based on their overall weekend results. And at the end of the weekend, we will also hand one of the 129 drivers the inaugural presentation of the Beter de Wit Fair Play Trophy this weekend, which will also be handed out to drivers this meeting. So it will be 2 formation laps. That's customary for every single category. The Rotax powered category, it will be a rolling start, 2x2 formation. Unfortunately, we had one driver that was not able to compete in the Micromax qualifying session a little bit earlier on this morning. That was Germany's Tam Saler in the number 30. But we should hopefully have all 16 competitors ready in the pre-grid to get their kick-off race weekend well and truly underway here at the home of champions. So, the first final for 2 for the Micromax. Your lineup is as follows. On pole position from Belgium is Len Nys, with Austria's Nando Weichselbaumer in the number 12 alongside Wolfhead. Sen Soetens, who obviously did well. Sen Soetens wasn't showing up on the timing screens. So Soetens looks to be on pole. Len Nys in second. Nando Weichselbaumer and Kasper Schormans in third and fourth. Olivier Jonkers and Aaron Ferrazano ahead of Tommy van der Stroys, Henri Velou, Max Swiderski, Matej Radenkovic, Dries van Langdonk, Karel Stout, Mats van Rooyen, Kaz Tobben, Tom Vangelangendonk, Sam Bollen and Tam Saleh at the end of the grid. So it will be 2 formation laps here for the first of 2 finals for Micromax. First one, 10 minutes plus an additional lap in duration. The second one, their second final, will be at 2:15 this afternoon. That will be 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap. So very soon, they're now on to the second of 2 formation laps, or 2 warm-up laps here, and hopefully there'll be a red line coming into turns 11 and 12, where they will then have to start the rolling start formation. This is the first race of the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. The first of 12 finals to take place today here under the wonderful Sunday afternoon February sunshine. Very cold this morning, but the temperature has increased over the course of the morning. Now the rolling start formation gets underway here. Ready to get going to kick off the kick-off here at Karting Genk, home of champions. Ladies and gentlemen, the red lights are on the starting gantry for the first time for this race weekend. Drivers being informed to slow down. So it will be Len Nys and Nando Weichselbaumer on the front row. Sutens will start from the back of the grid. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go racing here at the kick-off for the first time for 12 finals to take place. We find out 6 winners who go to Le Mans in August. The drivers now come round the final corner. They head into the tram lines. Red lights on the starting gantry. Do we go green? Yes, it's a clean start. And it's 3 abreast going into turns 1 and 2. It's nearly 4 wide going into turn 2. My goodness me. But that was very close indeed. Air temperature now in 8 degrees Celsius, as it's going to be 2 abreast going through turn number 4. So let's just see. They're going to come streaming down out of turn 6, heading down on the power, down towards turn 7. As it's nice single file formation at the minute. But the front 7 drivers are trying to make a breakaway, and they have done so. Oh, bit of a brazen move by whoever was in 5th place. That looks to be possibly, could that be Tommy van der Stroys in the 54? Someone's going up the inside, taking 3rd place in what is effectively turn 10. That looks to be number 40 of Schauman's has just got past pole sitter Len Nys, who's dropped down the order. It's 2 abreast. It looks like Tommy van der Stroys has got up into 5th. That he has done. Gets his head down. Len Nys on the back bumper of Schauman's in the 40. But Nando Weichselbaumer is streaking away. Schauman's trying to go up the inside of Jonkers for second. Takes the place nicely there. And with them looks to be the number 17 of Len Nys. Tommy van der Stroys now in striking distance, as he's now currently in 5th place. Could be 4th, as Len Nys nearly tries to do a double overtake on the inside of Schauman's and Jonkers. As Schauman's, I think, has just got back into 2nd position ahead of Nys going into turn number 7. 8 minutes 22 on the clock. So it is not the Truly train, it's the Schauman's train. Nice move by Tommy van der Stroys right up the inside. Looks to be of Olivier Jonkers. Len Nys in striking distance, and he goes past his GKS teammate. Oh, that's very, very brave indeed for whoever's just behind them. It looks to be Schauman's in the 40. Well, Schauman's is in 2nd. Benazzano looks to have made up a couple of places as well in the process. Tommy van der Stroys is hunting down 2nd position. He's trying to go with Casper Schauman's, who said, let's get up to Nando Weichselbaumer. Looks like Nys is going to have something to say going through turn 2. Can't make it stick quite yet. So van der Stroys is not knowing whether to go for the attack or the defence. He's got Schauman's in front, Nys behind, Jonkers in 5th. Max Zadursky up into 6th position. Benazzano now drops down into 7th place. Ahead of Henri Velou. Senna Sutens up, started from the back, now up into 9th. The number 34 on a move, on a charge, as Len Nys goes really close to the back bumper of Tommy van der Stroys in 3rd position. As they come through turn 8, they're pulling around 1.5 times the force of gravity. These might be our youngest competitors, but they simply have absolutely no fear. So at the moment, with around 7 minutes plus an additional lap to go. Tommy van der Stoys is wanting to know when he can attack, because he's not too sure. With Len Nice behind him, the number 17, very strong in qualifying. It's now about the racing to secure the points, as there's some good moves happening. I think that might have been Sutton's up the inside of... could be one of the Van Langendonks maybe, or one of the Van Langendonks is making a move up. But there's another change for position going through turn 2, a little bit further down the order, around about 8th or 9th position. So Van Rooyen has gone up a place. Henri Verlou now dropped down to 10th position, as Nando Weichselbaumer is still having to keep a bit of a gap between himself and the drivers behind. But it looks like Van der Stoys has just lost out to Schormans in the 40, a little bit earlier on in the lap. So Nando Weichselbaumer from Austria leads in the number 12, ahead of Kasper Schormans. Well, no, it's Len Nice. Len Nice now back up into second. There's changing positions. Tommy van der Stoys retakes third from Kasper Schormans and goes, come on, man, let's get after him. The one in front, come on, let's go for it. But there's still time in this race, but Schormans is not wanting to go with van der Stoys. He wants to go past him. As Max Zadersky gets past Olivier Jonkers for 5th position. So the number 19, also a fast peddler, is going really, really well in this race. Fastest lap at the moment, just trying to keep my eyes on that at the minute. And it looks to be Len Nice as the fastest lap of the fastest lap, the best lap of the race. So 1 minute 2.448 from the Belgian. Tommy van der Stoy still sitting at the moment, as there's a change, looks to be for second. I'm thinking, is that Tommy van der Stoys? If I can see from my commentary position, because I'll see Nando Weichselbaumer come through very, very shortly. Let's see what happened. Tommy van der Stoys and Len Nice now in second and third. They've really, really got time running out, not in their favour. They've got under 5 minutes plus an additional lap. The pair get their head down, going down the main straightaway. So Van der Stoys, and I think has just set the fastest lap of anybody, 1 minute 2.239. The young Dutch Charger in the 54 is gunning for the target that is on the back of the race suit of Nando Weichselbaumer. The gap now less than 9/10 of a second between the leader and second position. And you know what's happening here as well? I don't think Van der Stoys is going to factor into the lead. Len Nice, our pole sitter in the first final, is also going along. Nice little battle between Schorman, Zadersky and Jonkers for 4th to 6th position. A little bit further back is the number 46 of Alan Fedezano, who's around about 1.1 seconds behind the three-way squabble over 4th position. Meanwhile, the leader's coming through the final sector. The gap has literally been decimated by the pair of Van der Stoys and Len Nice. They are after Nando Weichselbaumer, who's just taken a bit too long of a glance over the left shoulder, puts his head down. Nando, look forward, look forward. You've got Van der Stoys and Nice closing. Van der Stoys goes up the inside of Weichselbaumer for the lead. Oh, Weichselbaumer goes wide and loses out to both Van der Stoys and Len Nice and goes from 1st to 3rd in 2 corners. What a great show of working together. Now the battle is on. 3 minutes 22 plus an additional lap. It is Van der Stoys versus Len Nice for the lead of this race, 54 and 17. I did say watch out for Tommy van der Stoys. He's just proved that. Now they are dropping Nando Weichselbaumer, who is looking a bit lonelier in 3rd place. He hasn't got anyone to work with, but is he going to keep pace with him? He's got this opportunity to showcase it. He showed it late last season. So, leaders coming through. Len Nice going around to the outside of Tommy van der Stoys coming through the final couple of corners, but Van der Stoys takes the tighter line. But Nice has got the slipstream, gives Van der Stoys a little bump on the back bumper from behind, and went for the overtake and actually pushed Van der Stoys forward going into turn 2. Now they go through the triple left-hander at 3, 4 and 5. Van der Stoys just steely looking forward. He's got the blinkers on. He's just concentrating on keeping that tight inside line, not giving Len Nice an absolute opportunity to go for it. And Len Nice is being, I think he's sort of compromising himself, because when he's trying to get in that aerodynamic tow behind the number 54, it's costing him, because he's not able He's trying to get past, but hasn't got that gap to do it. Van der Stoys takes a brief glance over his left shoulder. Len Nyes is ready to strike like a coiled cobra in the weeds, but it's only not a case of if, it's a case of when, as they come round towards the final couple of corners. 1 minute, 45 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap. So I would probably say we're going to have this and maybe another, we're going to have this and 2 more laps to go here. So 3 laps remain in the Micromax first final of the day here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. Len Nyes is just staying behind Tommy van der Stoys. I think he's going to leave it until the last possible moment. Van der Stoys is just holding on. Goes tighter on the inside of the apex on turn 6. The pair now blast. Get the heads down towards turn 7. Another bump from behind. I can just see this happening all the way through to the flag, because Van der Stoys is doing an absolutely handsome job out front. The 54 from the Netherlands just really showing what he's capable of. He's got a stern competitor behind him, but whilst they're battling, Nando Weichselbaumer is within 6/10 of Tommy van der Stoys. It could be less than that on the next tour around. So we've got 44 seconds on the clock. It's going to be this and 1 more lap to go in the first of 2 Micromax finals. Len Nyes takes a look over the right shoulder. Another little love tap from behind there from the number 17. Oh, went for the inside going into turn 2 and pushed Van der Stoys forward again. The only thing they've got to watch out for is drop-down bumpers in karting. But it's been very, very clean between the pair so far in this first of 2 finals. But Van der Stoys was just 69/100ths of a second ahead of Len Nyes on the last time they crossed the start-finish line. So time is going to expire by the time they come through turn 8, and it expires now. It's this and 1 more lap to see who's going to win between Tommy van der Stoys, Len Nyes, and the fast-closing Nando Weichselbaumer from Austria. This is going to be intense. We've got just over 1,500 metres of racing in this first final of 12 here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. And look at the gap that Van der Stoys has just pulled on the pair. And I tell you what, Nando Weichselbaumer is going for second. Well, he's trying to go for second. Nearly went for it up the inside of turn 1 on Len Nyes, but had to pull it back. Meanwhile, behind, I think, has Max Sadurski gone through past Kasper Schürmans? Yes, he has. Nice move, but he's gone round to the outside of turn 4. Schürmans goes back up the inside on turn 4, retakes 4th position. Nice battling between those two. And also they've got Olivier Jonkers from GKS with them for company. But in the meantime, is there going to be a change for second? I think that has just happened. Nando Weichselbaumer's just got in front of Len Nyes there. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, Nando Weichselbaumer now in second position. But I think he's left it a little bit too late to come back at Tommy van der Stoys, who's about to come through into the final sector, which they do now. But what a drive from the number 54 from the Netherlands. Quick glance over the left shoulder. But round the final couple of corners comes Tommy van der Stoys from the Netherlands. The number 54 will take the checkered flag and win Micromax final number 1, fractionally ahead of Nando Weichselbaumer from Germany, with Len Nyes taking 3rd at the end of it all. Max Sadurski had to take second best to Kasper Schürmans in the battle for 4th position. So Kasper Schürmans takes 4th place ahead of Max Sadurski. Olivier Jonkers, Aaron Federzano in the 46, finished in 7th position. Senna Zuten, starting all the way back from the back part of the grid, finished 8th ahead of Henri Velou. We also had one of the Vanger Langendonks. There are 2 of them, in fact. So I'll just quickly check the timing. So it was Dries Vanger Langendonk in 10th position ahead of Karel Stout. Madea Radenkovic was 12th ahead of Mats van Rooyen. Tom Vanger Langendonk in 14th. Kaz Tobben and Sem Bollen rounding out the 16 classified finishers. Unfortunately, Tam Saleh was not able to take part in the first final. So your winner for Micromax final number 1 from the Netherlands, the number 54 of Tommy van der Stoys, ahead of Austria's Nando Weichselbaumer. Len Nyes rounding out the top 3. Kasper Schürmans, Max Sadurski, Olivier Jonkers, Aaron Federzano, Senna Zutens, Henri Velou, Dries Vanger Langendonk, Karel Stout, Mateo Radenkovic, Mats van Rooyen, Tom Vanger Langendonk, Kaz Tobben, and Sem Bollen. Next up, it's Minimax final number 1. Well, what a win for Tommy van der Stroys, opening up his scoring books for victories in 2019. A very stern competitor in this category. Had a lot of work to do in the Golden Trophy last year when he had a clash with Mitchell van Dijk in the I think it was the pre-final, if I believe. They were on the second row and the pair came together, coming across the start-finish line. Luckily enough, they both came back up the field through through the field, having started pretty much at the tail end, Charlie, of it. But that's our first final underway, or final completed. First of 12 today, here on Sunday, the 24th of February 2019. Local time now, 22 minutes past 11. So if you're watching or on the live stream on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. If you're in the UK, you're an hour behind. So good morning. Also for those listening on not just the Circuit PA here, but we're also broadcasting live globally through our audio stream partners for 2019, Downforce Radio, the nation's motorsport station, which will be available free to download right after we have completed all the racing action, which I would imagine is going to conclude at around probably about 10 past 4 this afternoon. So Tommy van der Stroys has put himself in prime position for the opportunity to race at Le Mans on August 21st to 24th this year. So as I said, the Rotax powered categories, so Junior Max, Senior Max, Micro Max, Mini Max, DD2 and DD2 Masters, the winners of this weekend, based on their cumulative results, will head to the inaugural Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy being held at the Circuit Alain Prost at Le Mans on the 21st to the 24th of August. The runners-up will also get an opportunity to compete in the entire 2019 BNL Karting Series season, which kicks off next month, 4 weeks from today, on the 23rd and the 24th of March. And then we head to Karting Genk in Marienburg for the first full weekend of July. So that's a new venue for 2019. It's about 2 hours south here of Genk. And the nearest domestic airport, for anyone that might want to come along and come and watch the BNL Karting Series in action, Charleroi Airport is the nearest location to Marienburg. And that will be the 6th and the 7th of July. Then we return to the Home of Champions for our third of 4 visits through the BNL Karting Series calendar, even though it's a one-off event here for the kick-off. We come back to Karting Genk on the 5th and the 6th of October. Over the course of the season, it will be the best 10 of 12 results out of the races throughout the season that will decide our respective champions for 2019. Also, the Micro Max division will have an opportunity to get a further chance at a ticket to Le Mans by being the top classified driver after race weekends. So it's the first of 2 Mini-Max finals here at the BNL Karting Series Kick-Off. Your grid is as follows. Jaden Thiem from the Netherlands on pole position with Jasper Leeners from Belgium alongside in the 177. Then it's Tim Gerhards in the number 50 with Denmark's Simon Birch Christiansen in the 153 alongside on row 2. Javi Bach-Martiuk on the 192 and Jens van der Eyden from the Netherlands on row 3 in the 151. Nick Gerhards and Nathan Schaap in the 103, that's row 4. Max Knappen and Matthias van Gotham, row 5. Roman Sarkovsky from Belarus in the 171 is in 11th position ahead of Larke Ron Sorensen and Lithuania's Kajus Rudsevicius. So 13 drivers competing in Mini-Max for an opportunity to race at Le Mans, or if they want to settle for second, they'll still get a pretty good prize with a free entry for the season for 2019 in the BNL Karting Series. So 2 formation laps again. It will be a rolling start formation. So the formation lap will now get underway. They have a warm-up, and then a formation lap, and then we will get the red lights on the starting gantry. And then this will take us through to the lunch break here today. So 10 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll see what happens, but I think when you think about how quick the top 5 were in qualifying, who's not to say that Nick Gerhard's could be a dark horse in this race? Even though he's starting from 7th position, the number 60 could factor in, especially when you have a Gerhard's double bill fighting at the front of the field, as I saw late last season. So it'll be Thien and Leenerts controlling the pace. They do need to get into formation. There's 4 stragglers at the back of the field. Now the red lights are on the starting gantry. New feature for us here, the BNL Karting Series on the live stream for 2019, and also for the Rotax Max Euro Trophy that starts on the 19th of April for the Euro Trophy Open. We're about to get 10 minutes plus an additional lap of Mini Max final number 1 action underway here at the home of champions. So Thien on pole position on the left side of your screens on the live stream. Jasper Leenerts will be alongside. So it's Netherlands versus Belgium on the front row. Do we go green this time? Lights out and they're off, heading down into turn 1 for the first of 10 minutes plus an additional lap. So, that's 3 abreast coming through turn 2. They are allowed to use the runoff slightly on the very first lap to try and help. There is a straggler way down at the back of the field who's just coming through into turn 3, but the rest of the field are off like scalded cats going down through turn 6, down the main back straight, heading into turn 7, and they've just passed a van going alongside in parallel to the back straight. That's just impressive with the acceleration on these direct drive chain-driven karts, mated to a Rotax 125cc max engine. All nice battling. I think that is for at least 6th position going through turn number 9. Field now coming through to start the final sector of the lap here. And in the lead, it's Thien and Tim Gerhard's now up into 2nd position. So Gerhard's is flying, and in the meantime, just trying to see where, Jasper Leenerts in the melee has dropped all the way down into 7th position. That's a real shame for the young Belgian, but there's still plenty of this race to go. 8 minutes, 45 seconds, plus an additional lap. They're now on lap number 2, as the leaders have just gone through into the first part of turn 6. So it is Jaden Thien from the Netherlands, and Tim Gerhard's also a countryman in the number 50, closing on the braking, going into turn 7, and they go through turn 8. This is where they're pulling a lot of G-forces going through that corner. For anyone that might have seen on the Downforce Radio preview, there was a nice video from Dames Racing Team's Zabel Baldessar when he was pulling 2.2 times the force of gravity through turn 8. But the lead is now coming through towards turns 11 and 12. So Thien and Gerhard's were 0.2 of a second adrift on the last tour. It could be quite similar this time around. Let's see what Gerhard's at. Well, you know what I said about Nick Gerhard's? The dark horse is definitely more than just cantering. He's absolutely sprinting at the moment. He's up into 3rd place. And we're only on to what is effectively lap number 3. Has a bit of gap to get cut down over the next few minutes or so. It was 0.9 adrift. The gap is now extended to 1.3 between Tim and Nick Gerhard's. Nathan Schaap in the 103 is 4th, ahead of Jens van der Heijden in 5th place. Bach Mathiuk is in 6th, ahead of Jasper Leenerts. As the 2 leaders really are moving away. They have broken away quite cleanly from the rest of the pack. So a bit of a gap between the 2 Gerhards, Tim and Nick. So Nick now having to fend off the likes of Schaap, Van der Heijden, Bach Mathiuk, Leenerts and Knappen as well, as the 2 leaders come to complete another lap. This is going to be lap number 4. They're going to start now. And the gap is now 2.5 tenths between the 2 leaders. And the gap now between Tim and Nick Gerhard's is extended to over 2 seconds. That's incredibly impressive by the 2 leaders. They are just stealing a march on the rest of the field. They are moving away. And the best lap time at the moment is by Tim Gerhard's at the minute. Nice move up the inside, going into what was effectively turn 6 there. Trying to keep an eye on who that is. It's 2. Oh, that's nearly 3 abreast going into turn 7. And I know I've seen that before. That has never worked. because normally the driver on the outside gets pushed and ends up, unfortunately, in the soft barriers on the outside. Oh, there's a change for position. That looks to be, I think that's 7th place, and it's nearly 3 abreast coming down the little straight into the final sector here at Karting Genk. That's incredibly impressive race control from these youngsters. And Jasper Leenerts looks to be with Jens van der Heijden now. So Leenerts has got past Bach-Matiuk, I believe, as the 2 leaders now cross the line. And who's leading? It's Thien, Gerhards from Gerhards, Schaap, van der Heijden. Leenerts now in 6th place, having got past Bach-Matiuk. And Leenerts has set his best lap of the race, a 59.991. Not this tour, but the one before. Max Knappen now drops into 9th place as Simon Birch Christensen from Denmark gets up into 8th position in the 153. But the gap has still stayed pretty much the same between Jaden Thien and Tim Gerhards. Well, as I say that, the 2 leaders are about a cart length and a half adrift, maybe even make that 2, coming into the braking zone here in the final part of the track. So we are now at half-time distance here in the first of 2 Minimax finals. And, oh, hang on, we've got some changes happening. I'm just keeping an eye on where Nick, well, we've had a change. The lead has gone. Yes, but Jaden Thien has now lost out to Tim Gerhards, who's leading. He must have I think he made the move going into turn 2. So Jaden Thien now loses the lead just after the half-race distance in this first Minimax final. But the battle is truly not over yet. He might have won a mini war there, but he's got a battle on his hands with his fellow countrymen. But it is a top 4 sweep by the Netherlands at the minute, with Tim Gerhards leading, Jaden Thien in 3rd, Nick Gerhards in 3rd position, and he's over 3.1 seconds adrift. And he's got Nathan Schaap from the Netherlands in 4th. Jasper Leenerts is the best place of the 2 Belgians in the Minimax category. He's currently 5th at the moment. He's got past Jens van der Heijden. So Jasper Leenerts recovering from his front row start, dropped into the lower part of the top 10. So now he's got a bit of a fight on his hands to get past the opposition in front, as from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe even make that up into 11th position that have just gone through turn 5 with those with Rudzivicius and Sarkovsky now down in 12th and 13th position respectively. But at the front of the field, it is now being controlled by Tim Gerhards from the Netherlands, with Thien still keeping in touching distance, about 2.5 tenths of a second adrift. 3 minutes 12 on the clock, and looks like Jasper Leenerts again has had to get past Jens van der Heijden for 5th place. So those 2 have been swapping positions quite significantly over the last couple of laps or so. In terms of sector times, it looks like Gerhards and Thien are pretty much on an even keel, but then you look at the sector times of van der Heijden and Leenerts, and they're running a 23.9 from van der Heijden, and Leenerts was running the same as Tim Gerhards on the first sector, ran about a 24.0. But the 2 leaders coming through into turn 7, 2.5 minutes, plus an additional lap to go. All results are provisional on the way that I call them. Obviously, if there are any post-race scrutineering issues or protests or appeals, we will get the line-up for the grids for the second of their 2 finals at 14:35 local time here at Karting Genk. Meanwhile, Tim Gerhards is still controlling his place at the head of the field here in Minimax final number 1 of 2. 2 minutes on the clock. The distance now between Tim Gerhards and Jaden Thien is just over 3 tenths of a second. As I've just seen the 132 of Lucky Rod Sorensen with Matthias van Goethem having to battle with. And there's this little bit of a scrabbling wolf pack in the middle with Jens van der Heijden. Jasper Leenerts is in there as well. Then you've also got, I think, Javi Bach-Matiuk and Simon Birch Christensen from Denmark in there as well. So we're into the last 90 seconds. plus 1 additional lap, and with the pace that the two at the front have been setting, they have been in the mid to high 59-second barrier in comparison with some of the other drivers who are over 60 seconds around a lap here at the 1,360-metre facility at Karting Genk, home of champions, as the two leaders come around the final couple of corners. Just over a minute to go in this first of 2 Mini-Max finals for the BNL Kick-Off. And the gap now extends ever so slightly to just over 3.5 tenths, but it looks like Thien is just closing up a little bit on Gerhard's coming into turn number 2, but then now this is where Gerhard starts to sort of pull a little bit of a stride away, so to speak, as there's a nice little overtake a little bit further. Looks to be for around 7th or 8th position, I believe. So that could be between Berch Christensen and Bach Matiuk, I would consider, as the two leaders are already making their way through turn 7 before 3rd and 4th have even gotten through halfway down the back straight. And the gap now between Jaden Thien and Nick Gerhard, whoa, 5.4 seconds, and there's more action behind. Well, that's very impressive indeed. It just shows you, if you've got no fear and you can throw it up the inside, you're going to take a chance. And these Mini-Max drivers are showing that in spades this morning. So, oh, that was close. Tim Gerhardt crosses the line with 1 second on the clock. It's this and one more lap to go in the first Mini-Max final of the day. That was incredibly well timed, as there's more moves behind the two leaders who are just making a really good getaway. So Max Knappen's in there, Simon Berch Christensen is in there, I believe. Jasper Leynertz dropped back down to 7, having been passed by Javi Bach-Matiuk on the last lap. So Jasper Leynertz, who started in the front row, is going to have a fight back in final number 2 a little bit later on this afternoon. Meanwhile, our leaders are about they're coming through turn number 9, and now into turn 10. Gap still staying in the favour of Tim Gerhardt at the minute, and it looks to be further extended because Tim Gerhardt, I think, could it be at least half a second now? It's 5 tenths last time. Oh, and it's checkered flag, there we go. So it was final lap. So Tim Gerhardt's probably thought, oh, I've just got this and one more lap. No, it was one more lap to go. Even I might have seen it, but you know what? There's a very victorious and very satisfied Tim Gerhardt's there, who finished 0.832 of a second ahead of Jaden Thien from the Netherlands, with Nick Gerhardt's making his way all the way up from 7th to 3rd at the end of it. But your winner for Mini-Max final number 1 here at the BNL Kick-Off for 2019 at the home of champions Karting Genk in Belgium is the number 50 from the Netherlands, Tim Gerhard, who wins by over 8 tenths of a second from Jaden Thien, with it being a top 6 sweep for the Netherlands in this first of 2 Mini-Max finals. Nick Gerhardt's in the number 60 rounds out the top 3 and finished 6.2 seconds off of second place. Nathan Schaap in the 103 was 4th ahead of Jens van der Eyden in the 151. Javi Bach-Matiuk completed the clean top 6 sweep for the Netherlands in the 192 ahead of Denmark's Simon Berch Christensen in the 153. Jasper Leynertz, unfortunately, would finish 8th in the 177 ahead of the Netherlands' Max Knappen in the 148. Lars Ron Sorensen, also from Denmark in the 132, finished in 10th ahead of Matthias von Goetham, Roman Sakowski and Kajus Rutsevicius. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the morning action here at the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium, for the kick-off here in the BNL Karting Series season for 2019. We're now going to go to a lunch break, so we'll be back here just before 12:30 to continue the first stage of the finals here at the 2019 BNL Karting Series Kick-Off here at the home of champions in Karting Genk. We'll see you just after the lunch break. Finished? So for those listening on the Downforce Radio stream, that's it for now. We'll be back just before 12:30 to kickstart the second half of the action here at the BNL Kick-Off here at the home of champions, Karting Genk. Thanks for listening.